Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Months of uncertainty for Michigan workers and businesses coming to an end as Governor Gretchen Whitmer signs bills laying out the next several years of minimum wage and paid sick leave. Two new laws went into effect today impacting workers across Michigan. We thank you so much for being with us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Ty Steele. Now, this is all happening because Republicans and Democrats found common ground last night. The Michigan minimum wage is now at $12.48 an hour, and it will go up every year until it reaches $15 an hour by the year 2027. The tip wage remains at 38% and will gradually rise to 50% of the standard minimum wage by the year 2031. The other law would have phased out the tip wage over a number of years.
As for paid sick leave, employers with 10 or less workers must offer at least 5 days. They have until October 1st to implement. Employers with more than 10 workers must offer at least 9 days. Will Jones has been gathering reaction from all sides of this issue and joins us live with that part of the story. Will.
Kimberly and Ty, this was the first big test for the new legislature, the public watching to see if Democrats and Republicans can work together in divided government to reach some sort of compromise on major issues. And they did just that, but at the very last minute. Just minutes before midnight, state lawmakers completing the final step on the earned sick time and minimum wage bills. How were you last night, and what was going on behind the scenes trying to iron out these details before the deadline?
Well, you know, it's tough because you're trying to represent a group of other people in the negotiations, and not everybody gets to negotiate, right? There's a leader for the Republicans and a leader for the Democrats that are negotiating.
The new laws amend those that went into effect today due to a Michigan Supreme Court ruling last summer. The court concluded that the Republican-controlled legislature acted unconstitutionally in 2018 when they adopted the minimum wage and paid sick leave ballot initiatives and later watered them down. So you may be wondering, how could lawmakers change them now?
So what the Supreme Court ruled, and it's very clear in their ruling that came out last summer, is that they couldn't adopt and amend the initiative in the same legislative session.
The Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association celebrating the compromise on the tip wage. The group saying today, thousands of community restaurants and tens of thousands of servers and bartenders can exhale. Meanwhile, Mothering Justice expressing disappointment with the new paid sick leave law.
Overall, it's not what Michigan people deserve. It falls short of what we need and what people called for when they signed ballot initiatives or ballot petitions.
One Fair Wage is preparing for a statewide referendum in response to the new minimum wage law. They want voters to have the final say. We have more details about these new laws on Click on Detroit right now. We are live in Corktown. Will Jones, Local 4.
Okay, Will, we appreciate it.
Cordell Boyd is known as someone who loved his job and was good about checking in with family, especially on holidays. But Cordell hasn't been seen by his loved ones since November. And there's a sense of frustration over what happened when his sister went to police for help. Erica Erickson joining us live with the search for Cordell Boyd. And Erica, we understand DPD is looking into this, right?
That's right. Now, Cordell Boyd's sister says she wasn't worried at first, but then time passed, and then she hit those roadblocks with Detroit police.
The number you have dialed is not in service.
That's the message the family of 54-year-old Cordell Boyd of Detroit receives when they call him and when they try to call his work phone.
We got the wrong number. I'll say another number no more.
Missing since November of last year. His sister, Lenise Poole, says she and her family weren't worried at first because Boyd had been busy working in the heating and cooling business and selling clothing at this trade market near 8 Mile and DeQuinder.
If you happen to hear from anyone, would you mind giving this number a call back? We believe he's missing.
Oh, okay, not a problem, dear.
But then missing holidays and not checking in with family members.
Me personally have gone without hearing from him was maybe a month, but other people had talked to him in that time frame. But that's not the case this time.
Poole says Boyd was having a hard time after his girlfriend was killed in October of 2023 while at her son's baby shower, then became distraught after losing another friend several months ago.
This is where his sister says he used to sell that clothing. We spoke to another seller, and she says one day he just disappeared. It was really weird. He left all his printing supplies behind as well.
I need to know where he is. I need to know what happened.
Poole deciding to file a report at Detroit's 6th precinct last month, but she says they blew her off.
He told me, basically, he said, well, sometimes some people just don't want to be found.
How does that make you feel?
Like they didn't care.
She also says she called the city's crime reporting tip line but had more problems because she doesn't know her brother's current address. Instead, the family going to social media, making flyers, calls, and searching themselves.
You're scared something happened to him?
I'm very scared something happened to him.
Detroit police making it right Friday. Poole able to file a report, and Boyd's smiling face seen here.
I feel like at least we got the ball rolling.
You hope maybe you'll hear something soon?
I hope so.
Now, Boyd's sister says it seems to be that main issue was needing that address. She says she spoke to Detroit police and they were wonderful today. We also spoke to them and we wanted to know what are some of the main issues they deal with when people file missing persons reports. So, number one, they need a good photo, a clear photo with no filters applied, no Snapchat photos. Number two, a complete description including scars, marks, or tattoos that that person has. Three, as many details and information about where they were last seen, addresses, phone numbers. That personal information will not be released to the public. And four, they need any information on physical, mental, or medical issues. And also, if you know or you may know where Cordell Boyd is, please call them. That family is really scared. Yeah. Reporting live, back to you.
Understandably, it's been a long time, but hopefully they find him. Erica, thank you.
New developments in the Swan Boat Club crash. A judge will not dismiss Marshella Chittister's toxicology report. She allegedly had twice the legal blood alcohol level when she crashed last April, killing 2 children. The defense claims Chittister was arrested for driving drunk in a private area not open to the public, making the toxicology report inadmissible. The defense also claims the report was improperly done. The judge denied both motions. Chittister's jury trial will be held next month. Slowly but surely, repair crews are making progress on the massive water main break in southwest Detroit. Today's aerial footage shows crews removing the broken pipe section and installing a replacement that arrived on the site yesterday. The Great Lakes Water Authority expects repairs to take about 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the city is working on cleaning and sanitizing approximately 400 basements, removing debris and standing water, a process that could take 6 weeks to complete.
Trump administration officials are expected to present the president with a plan to combat the bird flu sometime next week. The virus continues to spread among wild birds and commercial flocks. Now, as we know, that has sent egg prices soaring, but the new plan could include the possibility of a push to vaccinate birds against the virus.
In the U.S., more than 162 million birds have been affected by avian influenza in the past 2 years, either infected or killed to prevent the spread. While some other countries already vaccinate chickens against bird flu, the U.S. is focused on eradicating the virus by culling flocks of birds when a case is identified. Why not vaccinate flocks instead? The primary reason is trade. The vaccine can make it more difficult to detect the virus in birds that do become infected. And many U.S. trade agreements specifically prohibit exporting birds vaccinated for bird flu out of a concern for spreading the virus to other countries. But in just the last 30 days, 151 flocks have been confirmed to have avian flu, affecting more than 23 million birds. Experts say the U.S. has a decision to make.
If you've been to a supermarket in the last few weeks, you've noticed that not only are eggs increasingly expensive, they're also becoming harder and harder to find.
The new plan is expected to include better biosecurity and a smart perimeter to prevent wild birds from infecting commercial flocks. But the U.S. Department of Ag has issued a conditional license for an avian flu vaccine. In a statement, the company said the decision to vaccinate commercial poultry flocks rests solely with national regulatory authorities in consultation with their local poultry sector. The virus is also spreading in dairy cows and numerous other mammals. And while the overall risk to humans remains low,
and certainly it can infect people who come in close contact with chickens and inhale a lot of the virus into their lower respiratory tract, their lungs.
Poultry in the U.S. are vaccinated for several diseases already, including salmonella and bronchitis. Some vaccines are given through the bird's water supply. Others are sprayed in the air or given as injections.
All right, so let's see what's happening with our forecast. We did get quite a bit of sunshine today, and that was nice.
Oh, so great. Kim Adams following all the other changes that are happening this week, starting with the weekend. Kim.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks. So this beautiful shot of Metro Airport with that nice afterglow after the sun sets is really just a welcome change for us. And we'll take a look at our Windsor sky cam, and it's just as pretty downtown. Look at this. It almost looks like a picture. We haven't seen crystal blue skies in quite some time. We'll head over to Southfield and just kind of take a look there as things are moving along nicely. You can see the sun is just now setting and the days are getting longer and longer. We start daylight saving time on March 9th, and the sun that day will set right around 7:30, which will be a very nice and welcome change. I do want to check, though, on some of the temperatures in the area, because believe it or not, we are right now above freezing, which we haven't seen in a while. Downtown Detroit is at 33. Everywhere else upper 20s to low 30s. But next week we get into the 40s. There is one day, though, actually there are several days, but one day that the morning commute could be affected by a rain-snow mix. We'll talk about it coming up.